In this video, I'm going to share with you how I went from broke to making $7,459 a month with my own ebook. So I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, I was dead broke. In fact, when I decided to drop out of college, I only had 81 cents to my name, and I had multiple overdraft charges that were on their way to my bank account. Luckily, I was able to fight said overdraft fees, but it still didn't change the fact that I had only 81 cents to my name. So I took that 81 cents and I went to a place called Vistaprint. I don't know if they still have it, but I was able to get free business cards. I just had to pay for the shipping, and I went door to door and knocked on every single door, every business I could find, and offered them my photography services because that's what I was going to school for. I was interested in photography. And after busting my butt, knocking on doors, booking weddings from Craigslist, telling my friends and family to book portrait sessions with me, within a few years, I had actually grown that photo business to a multiple six-figure per year photography studio. And quickly after having achieved that, I had lots of other photographers come to me saying that they wanted coaching and they wanted to learn how I did that. So I started doing some one-on-one coaching, some workshops, but I quickly realized that I didn't have more time to give. I was doing about 5 to 10 photo shoots a week, and time was not my issue. My issue was I had hit an income ceiling. And I actually had gone to a women's business conference and I learned about something called digital information products. This is where you're able to share your knowledge through digital information products like ebooks and online courses. That way you can create it one time and sell it over and over and over to help an unlimited amount of people and make essentially an unlimited amount of money. So even though I had a decent amount of people interested in learning from me, it wasn't more than, say, maybe 20 people. So I knew that I was going to have to get the word out and grow a following so that people would know that I had this information for sale. So enter in about 2014, I started blogging in Pinterest. So I would write a blog post every single week and then I would promote it on Pinterest. And within 6 months, I was able to grow a substantial following of readers on my blog, and I was able to grow my email list to over 5,000 email subscribers. So when I finally decided to create my ebook and put it for sale, I actually had people that were willing to purchase it. But it wasn't actually that easy. In fact, the first digital product I actually put out, I thought that people would want to learn mostly about posing. And so I put out a few ebooks about posing, but they didn't really sell that well. And it's because I just didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have a lot of experience with it at the time. And turns out you don't actually want to create an ebook that you think people want. You actually want to figure out what they really want and what their number one problem is so that you can actually help them solve that problem with your digital product or ebook. So after those first digital products didn't really sell that well, I decided to survey my audience. I started talking to other photographers. I sent out an actual survey, which today I would recommend using something like Google Forms. And I learned very quickly that their number one pain point was not, in fact, posing, it was getting more customers. So that's when I took my number one marketing strategy and made it into an ebook for just 59 bucks. And this ebook went on to sell over $500,000 in revenue in the few years that it was for sale. And now that I teach creators how to monetize their following with digital info products, I have since sold that ebook because I no longer teach photography, and I was able to get a substantial amount of money to sell the IP of that so that it could live on. Another educator could teach it, and I could go on to do what I do now. So fast forward to today, like I said, I now teach content creators how to monetize their following with their own passive digital products. And because I love ebooks so much, and that last ebook I made for my previous business did so well, I decided to create a similar ebook for this niche called 15-Day Digital Product. So this ebook helps people solve the problem of wanting passive income. They're probably trading their time for money, or they're not making enough money, or they have education that they want to help others with and they want to get paid well for it. So for the niche I'm in now, I decided to create an ebook called 15-Day Digital Product. This helps people to create passive income by sharing their own knowledge inside of their own digital product. It shows them how to go about finding out what digital product they should create, how much they should sell it for, how to actually sell it, and all of that good stuff. And even though this ebook is still relatively new and it's not even my number one focus in this business, I'm still able to make around $7,459 a month from this ebook. So now that you know my story of how I went from broke to selling ebooks, one that made over $500,000 in revenue over a few years, and the one today that's relatively new and still makes me around $7,459 a month. So now you're probably wondering, well, how can you do this? So That's exactly what I want to share with you. I'm going to go over my 3-part framework of how you can create your own profitable passive ebook that you can sell for consistent passive income. Step by step how to do that, and then I'm going to go into more details as well. Okay, so the 3-step framework goes like this. Number 1, grow your following and email list. Just like I shared with you guys in the beginning, even though I had this knowledge that people were asking me about, I knew that I still needed a following so that I could sell a substantial amount of my ebooks to actually make good money with this. And I do the same thing today. Even though I did blogging and Pinterest back in the day, I do YouTube now. And just like with blogging and Pinterest, I did 1 blog a week. And with YouTube, I do 1 to 2 videos every single week. So choose which social media you want to do to grow your following and your email list. Number 2 is you're going to want to survey your audience. Again, you don't want to create a digital product or an ebook that you just think people will buy. You want to create one that solves an actual painful problem so that you know people will actually buy it. And number 3, you want to actually go ahead and create and then sell that ebook. Okay, so let's dive into each one of these 3 parts of the framework step by step so that you can actually go ahead and make this happen. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is grow your following and your email list at the same time. Now, again, back in the day, I did blogging and Pinterest. That's because those were at their peak in around 2014, 2015 when I did that. And it was also really big. And I was also teaching about boudoir photography. So that topic would not have done well on YouTube because it was a bit too scandalous. In fact, I tried having a YouTube channel with it, and about 98% of my viewers were men, even though my ideal client was women. So it just wasn't really a good fit at the time. I do think YouTube is a great fit for most people, but when you have something that involves like a lot of swearing or like content in nature, like YouTube probably isn't a good fit for that. Whereas blogging, you 100% do own that platform. So you can kind of do and say whatever you want. So that is a plus to that. But for me now with my niche, I do YouTube. I absolutely love it. It has sent me the most traffic I've ever gotten from any platform. Like hands down, if YouTube fits with your niche, 100% do it. But no matter what platform you choose to grow your following on, the most important part is to simultaneously grow your email list. So whether you're growing your following on blogging and Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is, what you need to be doing is within every single piece of content, within your description, your link in bio, all these different places, be promoting a freebie or freebies. Now, a freebie is essentially a free digital product that people can get by putting in their name and email address to subscribe to your email list. And in return, they're going to get a free something. So for example, I actually have a ton of freebies in the link in the description below this video. I have a free training on how to actually go ahead step by step and start creating and selling your own digital products for passive income. I have a YouTube script template below as well. I also have a free funnel below so that you can move your followers to email subscribers. And I also have a list of all 54 different types of digital products. And you can download all of these completely for free. And that's exactly what you're going to want to do to move your followers to email subscribers. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do, and this is super important, is once you have at least 100 to 200 people on your email list or more, you're going to want to survey them. Now, I would use something like Google Forms because it's completely free. And you can ask them questions like, what's your number one biggest struggle? Where are you now? Where do you hope to be in X amount of months or whatever? Ask them a bunch of questions relevant to your niche to find out what is actually their number one pain point. Once you get this data back, you're going to be able to read this and really think about what type of digital product or ebook should you actually create. And yes, an ebook is a digital product, but I keep saying digital product or ebook because some people are probably interested in making an ebook, but some people might be interested in making something like a course or a membership or a workshop. So it doesn't really matter. This applies to any digital product. So once you've surveyed them and you know the digital product that you need to create, the next thing you need to do is actually create it and then sell it. So if you're making something like a digital workshop, you can actually sell that before you've created it and gone live and presented it. If you're creating an ebook, I would actually recommend that you create that first because you should be able to make your ebook in about 1 to 2 days. So it's not a ton of heavy lifting like something like an online course, where again, I would recommend that you pre-sell an online course or a membership, something that has more lift. But an ebook, you should be able to create that in 1 to 2 days. So worst case scenario, if it doesn't sell, you could just tweak it, tweak the messaging, tweak the actual ebook, and then you'll eventually be able to get it to sell. But if you did your survey right and you waited until you had a following and you found out what their actual problems were, then you should be able to get this selling right away. Now you're probably wondering, okay, cool, I've done all these things, but how do I actually sell it? Where do I actually sell it? So I don't recommend selling on something like Etsy or Gumroad or Amazon. I recommend you sell to your own following, your own platform, which is why I've talked about growing your own following and email list. So you are going to sell it in that exact same fashion. So here's a number of different ways you can do it. On the thank you page of your freebies, so people are going to put in their name, their email to get that freebie. They're going to go to a thank you page. On that thank you page, you can actually promote your digital product. You could say something like, hey, thanks so much for downloading the freebie. It's on its way to your email inbox. But in the meantime, you might be interested in blah, blah, blah. And then you could have a little sales page or checkout page for people to buy a paid digital product from you. So that's one way. And this way works really well. It's one of the top ways that I make sales. Another way is you can actually create an automated email sequence. So when they opt in for the freebie, they're going to start getting emails automated on whatever date and time you set them up for. And you can then talk about the freebie and then transition into talking about your paid products. So you can get people to buy that way. You can also be more direct in your selling, and you can put the link to your paid digital product in your description, in your link in bio. You can talk about it on social media directly. There's so many different ways that you could do it. But the most important part is to be consistent with growing your following and consistent with mentioning your paid digital products. That way you can get that consistent passive income. Now that you know my story of how I went from flat broke to making $7,459 a month with my very own ebook, you might be wanting to know the whole story of how I've done over $8 million in digital product sales to date. But how do you do that? Well, it all starts with watching this video next here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, it's going to be so much more powerful. See you in the next video.